to all you beautiful souls, hello. And to all of you without souls, also hello. You're not an afterthought. I still find you to be the most fascinating part of this whole equation, and I still would love nothing more than to get to know you better. Speaking of getting to know people, if you're wondering who I am, you're not alone. I'll let you know when I know. My people will call your people, so have your people waiting patiently, emphasis on the patiently, by the phone, alright? For now, you can call me Simollion, and this is my channel where I say stuff like welcome to our brand new Let's Play K9 and Kel. Y'all, first of all, thank you so much for being here. You could be anywhere else in the world, and I recognize that, but you are here, and I can't help but be grateful to you for that. I just want to say that Kel has been such a long time coming. I started planning Kel's series during Lavender's series. I even previewed him kind of on my TikTok, which you can follow me on there, but I don't really post on there anymore because I don't know if they're about to ban TikTok, so I'm not trying to put a bunch of work into that when I could focus all my energy on my long form videos and long form content that I think really, it serves the channel in a much stronger way than my TikTok does. Anyway, I previewed him there, and I also previewed him on Luna's series, well, by accident, when he came to be our roommate, and he also showed up during my favorite episode, Fuego Festival. Yes, exactly. Anyway, all of that has led to this moment. It has been months and months of preparation, but it is finally time for us to meet Kel. This episode is going to be dedicated to telling you everything about him. One thing I've learned in my Sims journey is that it is really hard to navigate that first episode where you have so much stuff you need to say to build your world, and then it winds up being such a long episode. I tend to feel rushed in that period, and I have to cut down a lot of what I'm saying or leave a lot of stuff out, but then it means I'm pausing a lot during the first episode to catch you up. So I believe prevention is better than cure, and so this time I am going to go about it a different way. All right, now we're doing a whole episode dedicated to backstory. It's going to be me talking. There's not going to be a lot of machinimas with subtitles. There's just going to be cool visuals, introductions. You get to meet all the friends. You get to hear about his life. You get to see a lot of the locations we're going to be using. It is going to be phenomenal, and I hope you're excited because 2 months of prepping for this, oh my goodness, this might as well be a movie production, truly. Okay, let's get started. Kel is a Nigerian young adult man. Kel stands for Kelechi. His full name is Kelechi Okeke, but he goes by Kel. He grew up in Nigeria, but went to university in Foxbury. And yes, I'm just gonna casually switch from real world places to sim places, because if Barbie could do it and everyone was fine with it, then I'm gonna do it here too. All right, period. Growing up where he did, he learned to have a deep appreciation for nature and art as a form of expression. Nigeria has always produced phenomenal artists, and it's hard to ignore when you're surrounded by it. However, you know how some Nigerian parents are, you gotta have financial security. So he went on and majored in computer science at Foxbury and got a pretty decent job in tech right after he graduated. He always had the brains for it, but he noticed that while he was in university, he was falling more in love with not his major of computer science, but his minors in art history and fine art. So after a couple years working in tech, saving his money, his coin, he began to experience a level of burnout that was really hard for him to understand. He was always very focused and a quick learner, but his ennui was becoming unbearable at this point. So he talked to his parents, and they discussed the potential opportunity to pursue what really mattered to him, which was art. Their only condition, though, was that he had to make the best use of all the opportunities that he had in this place by creating a tangible goal that would grant him financial stability and long-term security. He agreed to do that because he grew up with those values and he got where they were coming from. Even though he was pursuing something that was a dream and considered a bit of like a free form career, he had to learn to structure that career in a way that, made sense to him. So he wound up quitting his job in tech and began working as a freelance artist. He recognized how blessed he was to have made enough money to have a comfortable apartment from his previous job, but now that money wasn't going to be coming into his bank account the same way, you know what I'm saying? So he created several art pieces, and after reaching a good enough skill level, he decided to add in even more structure. After freelance selling his art, he applied for a job as an artist at a Windenburg art studio called Onirique. Onirique is a unique but enriching opportunity for him. That's how he views it. The way the studio works is several freelance artists are allowed to use this space as a creative space to work on their projects. However, the studio owners also require the artists to occasionally make works of art that will be sold under Onirique's name. And when I say occasionally, I mean weekly. These projects cycle through on a weekly basis. So for example, one week he might be assigned to working in Oasis Springs, which means that he will have to create 5 reference paintings, or landscapes, but you know how in The Sims it's called painting from reference if you take a photo. So he's going to find great spots and create 5 reference paintings in Oasis Springs, for example, and then complete one wall or floor mural that has been assigned by Onirique for him to paint. They've gotten permission from this public building, be it a bar or another museum, and he has to, in the space of that week, complete a mural for that lot. That way he kind of marks himself all over the world. We're trying to make him a renowned artist, y'all. I thought it through. Come on. Let me stop. So some more on how Onirique works. Random clients are going to come in on a daily basis to view art around the studio and seek guidance or commissions from the artists. These systems that are in place allow Kel to strive to meet deadlines and goals while keeping his creative skills sharp, whether he likes it or not, because he's also going to be doing his freelance work on the little tablet and commissioning those off and just using that space to get all that work done. So he has very productive days, or should anyway. So whenever I watch a movie or I watch a Let's Play, I love answering the question of why was it important that we met the character now at the beginning of the storyteller's story, but at some point in this character's story. And so for us, all this stuff has happened before now. We're meeting Kel now because his goals are beginning to expand. So he is working on a short-term and a long-term goal. The short-term goal is a bit more clear, so that's what we're going to focus on for now. I'm not sure how much the first season will entail, but I'm hoping that I can capture at least up to the short-term goal, but it's going to take us a bit. So anyway, what is the short-term goal, you may be asking? It's to meet with several gallery owners and pitch himself to them by showing them his previous works, in hopes that he can get an art exhibition for a day or more at one of their art galleries. And I think that's a pretty good goal for us to start with. So we're going to be focusing on that while we play. And now we can get into some of his traits. Kel is optimistic. He loves the outdoors. He's an art lover. He's active. He's gentle. And his extra personality types are that he's got the hero archetype and the artist as well. So yeah, Kel is very free-spirited and optimistic. Especially I feel his free-spiritedness really comes from when he lived in the constraints of tech. Not that it was bad at all, but he did have such a rigid system, and he doesn't have a problem with the rigid system, but he does like to have some control in exactly how rigid the system needs to be. So that's something that he really struggled with. And now that he has a more free form kind of career, he can afford to be a bit free-spirited. He gets to travel, he gets to explore, he gets to view the world and not be kind of stuck in a specific place. So yeah, I love that for him. He's really calm and gentle. He's always striving to maintain a stress-free life. When we meet him, you'll see Kel is all about self-exploration. no stress. He has a deep appreciation for nature and finds solace in capturing its beauty through his art. Kel is a great listener and enjoys engaging in meaningful conversations with people from different cultures and backgrounds. He wants to make art that pushes him to see the world differently, and what better way to do that than to travel around his world? I agree. I agree. Now we can talk about his strengths and weaknesses. So, when it comes to his strengths, Kel possesses a keen eye for detail. So he's able to capture the essence of a scene in his paintings and also pull things from memory in such a like almost flawless way, or like beautifully flawed, I guess. I don't know. It's great. He's adaptable and resourceful. Because he travels so much, he has to be. He's kind of a nature guy, and I love that for him. And that way he's kind of able to navigate unfamiliar territories too without feeling like too much of a tourist when he goes places. And then his calm demeanor helps him remain composed during challenging situations. Love that for him. He has some weaknesses though, as he should. Sometimes his desire for a stress-free life can like lead him to avoiding confrontation or difficult decisions. He can be indecisive at times, and like that hinders his progress sometimes in a lot of ways. And his carefree nature could cause him to overlook things that could be more practical sometimes. And I don't know, it's going to be interesting to see someone who became very used to such a go by the rules system come out of it and have to explore a system that it's not like it doesn't have rules, but it's like you have to enforce a lot of them. And yeah, it's gonna be interesting to watch. Quirks that he has: he likes to carry around a small sketchbook or tablet wherever he goes so he can capture a scene quickly. I mean, he always has an easel in his void, but I like to keep all the things on him. And he often gets lost in the moment while painting and loses track of time a lot, so we're gonna see that. That's why it's important for him to have structure, but you know, it's also hard to once you get in the flow. Now we can move on to the next part of this video, which is going to be Kel's apartment. I don't know, Kel, there's a bit of like wish fulfillment for me with Kel, because when I was younger, I always thought I would want to live in the city, and I crave that Ugly Betty New York life. Shout out to my Ugly Betty watchers out there. It's one of the greatest shows of all time. Argue with the wall. Anyway, I'm sorry, that was rude. I didn't mean to. But yeah, I always kind of loved that. But now as I've gotten older, I realize I just don't want that. If I had to live in a city, I would be incredibly upset and no one would hear the end of it. I am a suburbs girly all the way. I said suburbs because that sounds funnier to me than suburbs. Suburbs. Welcome to my channel. If you haven't liked the video and you're here after what I just did, please reevaluate that decision. Either leave or like the video. At this point, it's an ultimatum. I don't understand. But if you like my sense of humor, you can subscribe. Anyway, moving on. So let's talk about the intricacies of this build for me. I put it down in this apartment because I thought it was a small enough apartment building. It was quaint. It was kind of in the city center. It's around a lot of great things. And I don't know, I just absolutely love it. It's got a gym next door, which I'm going to show y'all, and you know, we have an awesome bar strip right there, which, you know, it just made me think of pub crawling. And even though you can't really do that in The Sims, like, I mean, you can do it in The Sims, it's just a lot of traveling. But anyway, this just looks like a pub crawl kind of vibe, and I really liked that. So yeah, this is his neighborhood. But going up into his home, I changed everyone's doors in the building because the default ones, please. I can't. I just had to love myself a bit more than that. I couldn't do it. And one thing I was really going for when I was decorating this apartment, especially furniture wise, was I wanted to feel like he had invested in the big things and then found little treasures to fill in the spaces, if that makes sense. So like things like his couch and like his kitchen is very like, it's beautiful. And I mean, like, it came with the apartment. Just the way he puts it, I don't know anything about decorating. I just do stuff. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I wanted there to be art pieces that inspired him, but I also left quite like a few wall spaces blank because I would like him to get his own art on his walls too. I think that'd be really cool. And you know, they say, I don't know who says this, but I believe it is best not to look to others for inspiration all the time, lest you forget the miracle that you already are. So I need him to be inspired by himself as much as he is by Basquiat and everybody else. One thing that really mattered with the apartment was that there was a central art piece that tied every room together. So there's a massive mural in the kitchen, there's the mirror table in the living room, the sculpture in the bathroom, and like the mural in the bedroom. So just wanted to put that out there. Speaking of the kitchen, I gave him a lot of cookbooks because now that he's no longer working hours that don't allow him to level up his cooking skill, he's going to be leveling up his cooking skill. So we're going to be very, very conscious of that. We're going to try to cook in as much as we can. Cal loves to eat when he travels though, but you know, and he be going out to dinners. He'll take his friends to dinner. He'll take someone he's dating to dinner, but he wants to make sure he's like cooking when he's home as opposed to ordering out, because you know, you got to be intentional about what you do in life with your money and with your time. His bedroom though was my favorite thing to do. I wanted to keep it as simply chaotic as possible. Like his furnishings are very normal dark wood, but it's like the walls that draw you in constantly. It's so loud, but it's so peaceful to him, and in his mind there's like symmetry to this, even if it's chaotic to you. And he loves to unwind in front of the window. That's his little chill spot, you know. I'm not really sure how this decor style would be categorized because I am a learner, an apprentice to no one, but also everyone. You're all my teachers. Thank you. So if anyone knows or has an idea, please comment that down below. What style of decor is this? But I really wanted to feel like a home, like for an artist that I would go into and be like, okay, I get what you're trying to do. Like there's lots of color everywhere. He loves deep jewel tones and it shows throughout. His office is really the only space that's quite neutral, and he does that because he just doesn't like to feel too stimulated when he's working on the computer. And he also has a massive window, which, you know, that is like a window frame. So outside of it is art. So just to preface, these are not all the friends that Cal is going to have. These are just the ones that, while I was developing his story, I made for him that felt necessary, but just like added to the story in a way that I liked. And again, I just made people that were somewhat similar to him, but just in different fields that would explain how they get along at this point in their lives. Like when you're in like your mid-20s and stuff, like I don't know, you just, when you start working, you have to start like being very particular about, you know, what circle you're having around you, because they tend to be the ones that are with you for the long haul. So yeah, anyway, let's meet the first friend. Introducing Grace Sullivan. She lives in Windsor, Windenburg. She lives in Windsor, Windenburg. I love her little house. It is so adorable. Her and Kel met at the gym in Windenburg once, and that's pretty much it. There's not much else to it. They found each other interesting, and they developed a friendship from there, and they never explored anything romantic, and I doubt they ever will. Not because, like, there's no, like, real reason for it. It's not like, oh, we're not my type or anything. It's just, like, they're friends. They respect that they're friends, and that's the end of that. Like, so her traits. She's spiritual, active, well-balanced, kind, vegetarian, and her like personality, like archetype traits are caregiver and hero. And I just put in a bonus note that she loves singing, because when I was like recording her b-roll, my girl did not stop singing. So just wanted to let y'all know that. She is currently a health and beauty student in training, and her hope is to become a yoga instructor. She has a Zen guru aspiration, which means that she wants to share her mastery of wellness with the world and train a successor to pass on her knowledge. Next, we're going to be talking about Alex Davis. Alex lives in Bedrock Oasis Springs, which, by the way, y'all, Bedrock, I didn't even know it was called that, but okay, I can make your bed right. Hey, I can make your bed right, girl. Alex is an experienced travel and fashion photographer who has seen the world through his camera lens. He's become a mentor to Kel, teaching him the art of capturing the essence of place or subject through photography. Alex shares his knowledge about different cultures and introduces Kel to hidden gems and encourages him to push his artistic boundaries, just another photographer, artist in the area, just someone that Kel can look up to, Kel is a well-traveled man, so he has collected these friends from all over the place. He got a friend that lives in Oasis Springs, so he's been there. He be traveling. He's been to Windenburg, now, distance-wise, I don't know if those are 8-hour flights or 30-minute drives because it's the Sims. But, he's traveling. He's traveling for friendships, and I love to see it. So Alex's traits are he's intellectual, adventurous, he's got a photographer's eye, he's charming, outgoing, and his personality archetype traits are sage and jester. He is a freelance fashion photographer, and his aspiration is to be an artist photographer. Which is pretty straightforward. For now, he does a lot of travel photography as well as fashion photography, but I think he just wants his stuff to also go up in art galleries and stuff like that at some point, and have himself be one of the classics, one of the greats. Now let's move on to the next friend, Lily Slate. She know her name is fire too. She lives in the Crumbling Isle, Windenburg, another Windenburg friend. Lily is a travel writer and absolutely loves to explore different places. She met Kel during her travels and they became backpack buddies for about a week. And, she became a friend and confidant to him, sharing her insights about different cultures and inspiring Kel with her eloquent descriptions of places. He loves her articles. He loves the things that she writes. She's got the gift of the, silver tongue, period. So he loves that about her, and they're very good friends because of it. Lily encourages Kel to delve deeper into the stories behind the landscapes that he paints, helping him infuse his artwork with narratives and emotions. He likes having her around, and it's not just because of what she gives him, but it's just that he finds that having other creative people that aren't necessarily working in the same creative space as him helps him to see his own work as a creative differently, because he doesn't want to be the kind of person who's just what only value visual and fine art. I'm not gonna acknowledge the beauty in this other type of art because I don't know, I'm too hyper focused on mine. I don't know. I hope that that's not a thing, but if it is a thing, then he's not that thing. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, Lily's traits. I keep going into rants about Kel before saying their traits. I apologize. I could re-record this, but it's this whole episode is just a bunch of this. So if you don't like it by now, then I'm sorry, you're just not gonna like it. But I hope you come back for the first episode. It'll be less of this, I hope. Lily's traits. She is adventurous, a girly girl, smart, worldly, and her archetype traits are jester and sage. Yeah, she is a travel writer, and her aspiration is to be a Mount Comorebi sightseer. She's working on that right now. She's not playing no games. She's working on that. Let's talk about Lucas Gatsby. Lucas lives uptown San Myshuno. He is a successful restaurateur who owns a bunch of restaurants around the world. He becomes a friend to Kel, introducing him to different cuisines and flavors, and Lucas shares his love for food and entrepreneurship with Kel, inspiring him to incorporate culinary elements into his artwork and explore the connection between art and taste. See what I'm saying? Do you understand? Do you get it? Do you get it? Anyway, Lucas's traits. He's charming, passionate, a perfectionist, foodie, ambitious, and a sage and lover. A lover and sage. He owns Cube Restaurant in San Myshuno, Umbridge Manor in Willow Creek, and Sulani Sands Restaurant in Sulani. His aspiration is to be a restaurateur, and he is currently living that. We're gonna get to see some of these, if not all of these restaurants, and I'm very excited. He done a good job. His restaurants are popping. They're popping, and they're all so different because he's just a genius like that. Literally, they're all so different. I love it for him. Let's talk about Mia Haywood. Mia lives in Conifer Station, Evergreen Harbor. She's a passionate conservationist who travels the world to protect endangered species and ecosystems, baby. Straight to the point. She meets Kel during a trip to Salvadorada while he's just passing through. He's just kind of coming through for like an art thing just to get inspired, but she's going to explore the jungle. But they meet kind of like in that middle phase where she's on her way to go and he's just kind of hanging out at like the bar area, and they become good friends from then. She educates Kel about the importance of nature and the environment, inspiring him to use his art as a medium to raise awareness about environmental issues. And yeah, they're pretty good friends. Like, they work well. Just side story, the first time she went to the jungle, it was like a jokey trip where she attempted to offer her gift of dance as an offering at the temple. Offensive? Probably. I don't know what that was about, but she fell in love with the environment there, and now she tries to come back often and study it, and yeah, it became a lot more selfless, but also selfish. Selfless because she's trying to save nature, selfish because it makes her feel good to be doing that, which is why I guess they say there's no true selfless act, because if you feel good doing it, then it's not selfless. Because like, even if you're like, what am I talking about? Okay. Let's move on. Okay. She's a conservationist, and anyway, her traits are she's adventurous, a health nut, active, book smart, and collector and hero. She's a conservationist, and her aspiration is to be the greatest conservationist. Moving on to Oliver Godinez. Oliver lives in the Arts Quarters San Myshuno. Oliver is a talented street performer who uses his music and performances to express his creativity, okay? He becomes a mentor to Kel, teaching him to embrace his uniqueness and think outside the box. Oliver encourages Kel to experiment with different art forms and inspires him to find his own artistic voice. One really cool thing about Oliver is that, like, even though he's incredibly talented, like, he has been offered to be signed and has many opportunities to be signed, but he's chosen to perform for the public and let them kind of pay him. Like, he obviously does other things for money and like may take other opportunities, but when it comes to his music, he wants to have sole control, so he makes sure that he just performs on that level for the masses, and keeps his not just relatability but just his sanity by not losing sight of what really matters to him, which is his music. So kind of love him as a mentor for Kel. Him and Alex, great mentors. Anyway, his traits: he is free spirit, street smart, I mean, he would have to be, music lover, charming, adventurous, jester, and artist. So his career in the game is rock artist. That's what he does. Like, when he goes perform in the streets, he's playing like cool little rock songs. Sticking out your gut for the Rizzler. That kind of stuff. His aspiration is to be a homewrecker. I understand that it's a bit odd because everyone's aspiration kind of lined up until now, but like, that's his guilty pleasure. His motto is fuck around and find out. And so he's going to do that. And I kind of love that for him. I mean, you look like Oliver, you play like you look like Oliver. You know what I'm saying? It's unfortunate, but what are the odds that there isn't one of these in Kel's group of friends? Like, what are the odds? Anyway, let's talk about Sophia McKenna, shall we? She lives in Parched Prospect, Oasis Springs. Sophia is a travel guide who helps Kel navigate through unfamiliar cities and landscapes. She knows the best hidden spots, local customs, and cultural events, okay? Sophia becomes like a really good friend to Kel over time, and she shares stories about her hometown and how she grew up, and introduces him to local artists who inspire his work, because it's not always about looking up to the people who have made their way up there. They are great, they are aspirational, all that stuff. However, there are people that are on your level and even below your level who are doing stuff that, just because it hasn't been recognized, doesn't mean that it is not great. And a perfect example of that is Dolomite Is My Name, the movie about Dolomite, played by Eddie Murphy. I hated that movie when I first saw it. I thought it was obnoxious. And then I watched it again a few years later when I had grown up a bit, and I was like, look, every movie has flaws, every person has flaws. I don't know what, but like, I appreciated that story. Am I wrong for that? Maybe I should go watch more videos on that and see if it was an accurate telling of his story. But from what was presented on Netflix in that movie, I liked it a lot. I thought the message was really, really strong, and I thought the ending was absolutely solid. Anyway, moving on. Sophia's traits. She's clever, active, adventurous, charming, hero, and a sage. She's a jungle explorer by trade, and her aspiration is to continue to be a jungle explorer, baby. Now let's talk about Jack. Nobody wants to talk about Jack. I guess we have to talk about Jack. Okay. He lives in the fashion district, San Myshuno. Of course, he lives in our city. Look, okay, I'm just gonna tell you right now, Jack is our antagonist, all right? Any well-rounded story needs to have at least one of these, and this is like the antagonist that the story came with. You know what I'm saying? This is the one I'm bringing in. That's not to say that we're not gonna add more to the list. I believe in making friendships as much as I believe in making enemies, so we're gonna see what's gonna have to happen, child. But anyway, he lives in the fashion district San Myshuno. He is a talented, unfortunately, talented street artist who sees Kel as a rival. He constantly challenges Kel's artistic skills. Like, when I say constantly, I mean like it's so petty. It's so petty that it makes you really side-eye. Like, what are your intentions? We live in the most diverse city in all of the Sims world. What are your intentions? Like, why doesn't Kel deserve to be here? What are you talking about? Anyway, Jack's constantly challenging Kel and trying to prove that he's a better artist, and his jealousy and competitiveness create tension in their relationship because Kel obviously tried to like be the bigger person at first, but it just has become too much. So yeah, Kel doesn't really want to know what to do because at the end of the day, this person, even though he says a lot of things that push Kel's buttons, he also confronts Kel's insecurities, and like it pushes Kel to think outside of the box and to try to be, you know, more than certain things. So it's like even the bad people in your life are like, everyone in your life is there to teach you a lesson. It's just, are you determined to learn it or not? And Kel is determined to learn as much as he can from all these people. So that's why with these people, he knows what their role is in his life. And that's why he feels solid, even having someone like an enemy, not around, but he, like, know your enemy. Like, know what game you're playing. This is his enemy in his city, so he knows him. But he also knows the benefits that having a rival like this can have, you know? If you want to know why they hate each other, you're going to have to subscribe to my Patreon. I'm just kidding. I do not have a Patreon at the moment. I do not have that. Kel and Jack hate each other because when Kel first moved into his apartment in San Myshuno, he was going to paint some art onto the sidewalk in his neighborhood. There was an open space and he had gotten permission from the town to do it and everything. But then before he knew it, like, the whole situation got hijacked by Jack. It was hijacked. Somehow, because he knew someone who knew someone or whatever the hell, he wound up getting the opportunity to paint in front of like Kel's building, like in his neighborhood, and he wound up painting just some silly graffiti when Kel actually wanted to use that moment to like paint something beautiful that showed, like, you know, his gratitude for being here, but also showed his skill. This guy, and it's not to say graffiti isn't beautiful, but it's like if there was an intention for the space and you came and completely like defiled it with another piece of art that like was not supposed to be there, well, whatever. Anyway, so that's where the hate really started. Jack has a bad reputation, especially because during that incident of spray painting the sidewalk, my guy sprayed a dog. He spray painted a dog while he was painting. Like, and he didn't stop. The dog left and he was still going. It was all over the news, child. Anyway, his traits are: he's an art lover, egotistical, competitive, envious, hero, and artist. His career is an artist, just like Kel. His aspiration is to be a painter extraordinaire. Doesn't this guy look like someone who would just like troll for fame on the news? Ugh, I don't know, something about him. Anyway, let's talk about the leading lady, okay? Now we can talk about Maya Carter. Do you see this girl? I know you see her. Anyway, she lives in Wakaba, Mount Kamarebi. Maya is a successful travel blogger who documents her adventures on her very popular blog. She met Kel online, you know, online some Fruity Sim. She met him on Fruity Sim, child, and was instantly drawn to his artistic spirit. She loved his photos, but she also just loved what he was saying. Like, he was speaking to her soul. She got it. When he was talking, she was getting it. She's like, I'll write the words, you paint them. Like, it was very much that vibe. So they really liked each other. But it was a bit long distance because she lives in Mount Kamarabi and he lives in San Myshuno, child. So even if we don't know Sim's travel, we know that is far. Okay, if we're pretending that Mount Kamarabi is like the Japan type world, and then San Myshuno would be like the New York, London, New York probably, yeah, then I would say they're pretty far apart. Anyway, she was friends with Lily before though, which is like, you know, pretty cool, but Lily hadn't connected her to Kel yet. And when her and Kel met online, they were just really happy to even have a mutual friend, because it kind of gives you that extra stamp of approval that like someone I trust this person. So he really kind of like, he took it seriously. He took that talking stage seriously, and they spent like 2 months, you know, like talking about new places that they would like to go and cultures they would like to explore, things like that, and just kind of dreaming together. And it was such a great way for them to bond by dreaming of, you know, she wants to see the world the way he sees it as like a painter, an artist, and he wants to see it the way she sees it, the way that she documents it and captures people with her documentation of it. Like, they work, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're cute, but he's been dating around, okay? I'm not gonna say he hasn't been. He has been. He has, all right? In that apartment, there's only so much you can do. Yeah, it's a big apartment. He's a bachelor. He's a good-looking one. He lives in the city, you know, and this relationship is long distance, so he's figuring out if he can make this work. But in the meantime, he's not no saint, okay? He's hooked up with his neighbor. I'll be honest, he has. He's had some pillow fights with Sophia. She's the only one of his female friends that he's actually like gotten somewhat close to intimate with, but like they decided not to do that. But yeah, he had a little work fling. Come on now. Kel is doing his thing. But anyway, like I said, they've been seeing each other for about 2 months, and although they haven't made it official yet, Kel is really beginning to view their situation more seriously. And he actually got her a dog named Amor. It's a very cute dog. Got it from the gallery. Very cute dog. Very cute. Very cute. Very cute dog. Very cute dog. He got her the dog because they had bonded over how lonely they both felt, even though they were loving the lives they were living. She had always dreamt of living in Mount Kamarabi, and he had always wanted to live in San Myshuno. Like, they love their lives, but it's just like there is a loneliness to it. And she just kind of voiced that she would love to have a dog for companionship while they were having conversations about like how to find companionship. And they were talking about animals. She mentioned she would want a dog. He saw a dog and thought of her, and this was the one. And, you know, Amor has a little heart above her eye, and oh my god, she's such a cute little Dalmatian, and Maya loves her, and it's so cute. Anyway, Maya's traits: she's captivating, optimistic, adventurous, an art lover, active, and a hero and artist. And like I said, she's a travel blogger, and her aspiration is to continue to be, you know, obviously a travel blogger, but like she also wants to be a Mount Kamarabi sightseer because she lives there, but she wants to like see everything, and she hasn't yet because she just moved. It's new. It's very new. I think she's very pretty. Now let's get to the meat and potatoes of this, okay? The meat and patates. The meat and patates. So we need to talk about the other part of this title. It's not just Kel, it's K9 and Kel, okay? It's K9 and Kel. While Kel was living in the city, and, you know, especially after leaving his tech job and realizing like his downtime was beginning to sound very loudly silent, like he could just feel how alone he was at home, and even though he was able to hang out with people, it just didn't feel the same. So being enriched in the friend's apartment, at the end of the day, all those people have lives, and Kel doesn't want to disrespect that by requesting their availability every time that he feels lonely, which is a lot. You know, how do you balance that? So it's like you live in a city as big as San Myshuno and most big cities, and you'll experience that living in a box on top of another box and below another box. It's just like such an isolating way to live if you don't like have someone to be there all the time. But everyone's always hustling and trying to move and sustain their box and sustain their bag and sustain their life. So anyway, so I figured it was a great time to get a dog. And that was the conversation he was having with Maya, where they were both kind of talking about how great it would be to get a dog that you bonded with. And that's why he got one for her, but he also got one for himself. He went to an animal shelter in Brindleton Bay, which I got from the gallery. And he had looked at some of the dogs online already, and seeing them in person was just such a great experience. They were so cute. They were so adorable, running around and stuff. But there was a new arrival that day that he hadn't seen online. A beautiful, wonderful, splendidly delightful little dog. Oh my goodness. Cal bonded right away with this dog, and it was like they had known each other forever. They could not stop playing. It was like you could feel like him and the dog were laughing. So Kel knew he'd found an amazing friend right away, and that's how he met Canine. And that is the name of my dog, of his dog. That is the name of his dog, Canine, spelled Kaynyne. I don't know why. All right, he's a little boy. He's a little boy. Canine is an adventure lover for sure, which gives Kel a great reason to explore places as well as work, because he won't feel so lonely anymore when he goes out by himself to do his little work errands. And yeah, these two are the heart of this story. They love each other and things are going to be great. So I want to talk kind of about how gameplay is going to go. I had mentioned this, I don't know if I had mentioned this before, but I'll say it now. I loved doing the commercials for Luna's series, but it became so hard to do while I was prepping and shooting Luna and doing TikToks at the same time. It was crazy. So I couldn't keep up and make all the ones I wanted to, and I had to think of a good way to have something that fills a commercial break for Kel without being a commercial. So I apologize to anyone who loved my commercials. Hopefully I can get back to them soon. But for now, I'm going to do an ad break where I play Stardew Valley. And I think it's going to be really, really fun. I love playing Stardew Valley in my downtime. And now that I've turned it into something that, you know, I can fill in with Kel, where I'm playing 2 games at a time. And you get to follow me build my farm for like, I don't know, 30 seconds to a minute of an episode of Kel. So I'm gonna do that. Other things you can look out for. I put down some amazing builds for this. I found so many builds from the gallery, and normally I would pause the episode, not pause, but like I would put a little title card over, you know, those moments so that you can see who made it in the gallery. But what I've decided to do this time is put that in the end credits. So if you're curious about any of the builds that I've put down in my playthrough, know that they will be in the end credits. So if you just wait until then, I've broken them up by category, and you can take a look at all the wonderful creators who have contributed to my I said my universe, my save file, child. So there's that. I also took this prep time that I was using to get a lot of deliciously wonderful b-roll, and it really helped me fall in love with The Sims again. I don't need to tell y'all this. I'm just talking. You don't have to be here still. If you're still here but you're getting ready to leave, you can like and then head out. I wouldn't even be offended at all. But if you want to hang out and just talk with me while you do the dishes or eat your dinner, let's do it, child. There are so many beautiful places in The Sims. I'm sure I'm throwing some up on camera right now or on the screen, but they are just, I couldn't stop. Like I said, it took me 2 months of just searching up and down the entire world of The Sims to try to find places that captured the essence of this show. I wanted it to feel a bit like Broad City, but for a guy. Broad City, it's a fun show. I like that show a lot. So I wanted to feel kind of like that, but like with a little bit of New Girl mixed into it. So yeah, I like that. I also need to talk to you about the planners that we're gonna have. So, or not that we're gonna have. So I'm gonna throw up No, I'm gonna throw up an example of what Cal's weekly planners are gonna be looking like. And I have this set up for 15 weeks. Do I think we're gonna play all 15 weeks in the first season? No, we might play half of them at the very least. But what would be really cool is just like know that I have filled all 15 weeks worth of planners with activities for every single day. I have made sure that every week Kel has he spends time with a romantic interest. He spends time training for his mountain climbing because Kel is now part of the aspiring mountain climbers, and he's part of a group called the Mountaineers that has Mia, Maya, Alex, and Lily, I believe. But if anyone else wants to join as we play, like, we'll let them in. But for now, they like to go to the gym and train, so I have like a day set up where he goes and does that. And then once a week he has to have a digital detox day where it's just all about him, and especially like K9 too. Sorry, my voice is like quivering. Yeah, but especially K9. He gets to really spend time with him, and they get to just do whatever they want, and make sure that there's, every Sunday he does brunch with his friends. That's a non-negotiable. He does brunch every Sunday at their favorite brunch restaurant, and he has to have a street gallery sale as well on Sundays. So it's great. It's great. On Sunday he sells all the art that he made throughout the week at whatever location, and as long as he sells it under Onirique's name, he gets some of the money off of that, and they get the rest, and it is great. So I'm just kind of letting y'all know like the little extra things that are going to be happening throughout the series. I'm not going to do a lot of pausing for cinematography. As I had mentioned, I have recorded everything like aesthetically that I would like to record for this, so I don't think I'm going to be doing too much. I have planned this series out in a very specific way. It is going to be a lot of free-form gameplay, but it's also going to be kind of planned. By having a planner, I have there's one thing that he has to do each day, but it's not like having an event or a holiday where he has to complete a bunch of things to have had a successful day. So he can have like a paint and sip night, or he can go visit someone or go skiing, that kind of thing. So I think it could be really fun. If y'all are looking forward to this, please let me know. I'm looking forward to this like no tomorrow. I hope you liked this intro video. I might do more stuff like this because I'd rather chat with you for this long than like try to do all this. My energy is now super drained, and then I can't imagine having to go play like an hour or 2 hours of gameplay after this. I would lose my goddamn mind. Let's just be grateful to the universe for opportunities to learn and to grow. All that being said, thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for being here. Like, what? You are so freaking cool. Like, you made it to this point in the video. You're cool. You are a cool person. Like, I would write that in your yearbook. You were one cool ass person. All right. Thanks for being here. Now, I do have to say, I'm tired, so you do need to go. I'll be more polite than before, though. Please, would you mind leaving my house? Kick the dust bunnies off your toes. Close the door behind you. Because Simollion says, see you later. Bye.